Pulp MX Network production.
It's the Renthal Reaction Show for breaking moto news, hot topics, and moto by the minute.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Renthal Reaction Podcast. This one's a biggie. Email dropped, PR dropped this afternoon. Ken Roczen to pause 2022 AMA Supercross campaign, and that's a Renthal rider as well. So lots to get into when it comes to this. Hasn't been a good season for Roczen at all, and we'll talk about that and maybe throw in some Chiz news at the end as well. Thank you to the folks at Renthal, Chase Sexton, Ken Roczen, Cooper Webb, Marvin Muscan, Aaron Plessinger, Adam Cianciarillo, Jason Anderson, and so on and so forth. The champions that have used Renthal, past and present, are deep and long. And thank you to folks at Renthal. If you're in the market for some bars, sprockets, chains, grips, you've probably already used Renthal products over the years if you have a dirt bike and you know that they are that good. So Renthal.com, they got a bar for you, they got a bar bend for you, and a style and a look that you want. Renthal.com for more information. All right, with me to talk about this is factory former national championship winning mechanic, Paul Parabinos. What's up, Paul?
Hey, Steve. How's it going?
Well, this has certainly turned us upside down here. So obviously, look, Roczen's been a big source of chatter in all my shows. He has more outside the top 10 finishes in 2022 than he's had in his whole career. He won Anaheim 1, which seems amazing looking back on it. And now the release has dropped. Roczen to pause 2022 AMA Supercross campaign. Basically says here he's going to take the time off to see specialists and work on recovery. His on-track performance has suffered as he's dealt with health issues. He was on the Pulp Show after the Anaheim win, mentioned that he was sick, not with COVID, before the year. Could not believe he won Anaheim. And then he said and then in the press release here, he got COVID around San Diego, just after the San Diego round, and he hasn't been able to put those issues behind him. And rather than risk a downward spiral in health and morale, he and his team have made the difficult decision for him to withdraw. During his hiatus, Roczen will seek professional treatment from specialists he has worked with in the past, including some in Europe. His exact return date will depend on how the process goes. And massive blow to Honda, massive blow to the series. I mean, look, he hasn't done what he expected to do, nor Honda, but still, Paul, he's a huge name in our sport, and this is a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely right. Like we're all Ken Roczen fans, and he's a staple in our sport globally. So yeah, this sucks to see, but honestly, he's not happy with his results, right? Neither is Honda. So if this is what it takes to get back on track, then I don't blame them at all as a fan, as a friend, even as a sponsor. There's not a lot to go on from the PR. He simply just doesn't seem healthy enough. And I think, I think Honda's been doing everything they can to try to get him as comfortable as they can on the motorcycle. I personally don't feel it's a question of motorcycle. I mean, as far as Honda goes, everybody on their team has won a race this year. And that's something I think that, to me, in my eyes, throws the motorcycle part of it out a little bit. I think it's Kenny. No other team has been able to say that this year, that all their riders have won a race. So, yeah, I mean, we need Kenny back at full strength for sure. I hope he can sort it out, right? He's been having issues for a while now, and perhaps the rigors of our schedule, however many races we have each year, not many weeks off, is a lot for him to handle in the current body he has, all his post injuries. So it's a blow for sure, but yeah, I don't know, man. What do you do?
Well, I know he hasn't been happy with the motorcycle. You're saying that you don't fall in that camp, and I tend to side with you because, he won Anaheim, and this bike isn't any different from last year's, where he was, a close second in the series. I just know that this year the bike hasn't been where he wanted it. He's gone down in the whoops a few times. He's just been riding kind of lackluster. Look, you can say like, hey, that Ken Roczen doesn't have it anymore, and some of that may be true, but he didn't lose the speed in one season, in one off season. So as he gets older and as everything else goes on, I understand Roczen slipping a bit. That's natural, but we're talking, he's slipping to places outside the top 10 here. He's crashing. Something has been going on, Paul, with Ken Roczen. And so yeah, probably the best to just pause it. But I don't subscribe at all to the theory out there on social media already that he just doesn't have it anymore and he doesn't have heart in it and he's giving up. There's obviously something going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's too special and too good of a rider to say that about. I don't think the decline would be this drastic or that he's heartless or anything like that. Yeah, like we touched on the bike, I don't feel it's the bike. So I think, it is him, I think, in this situation. And that's what they're saying in the press release. And kind of goes with everything he's been telling the media, right? Like he was surprised by his Anaheim 1 win. He picked up some sort of illness in December that really limited his prep. So he's really surprised at Anaheim. Obviously he dealt with COVID in between San Diego and Anaheim 3, I think, or 2 came after San Diego, and Anaheim 2 wasn't a good finish for him either. So, I mean, I think he's been truthful with us, and, just from the Honda side, like they pay and hire Ken Roczen to win races and be in the hunt for a title. And he's not doing that right now. And it's, that's not only detrimental to Kenny's confidence and his morale, but to the team's morale as well, right? They have 3 other race winners on their team, and they need to know that and feel that they're doing the right things and they're competitive. They're not going to be excited when Kenny comes off the track with a 9th again or something, right? Like they want to be getting trophies every weekend. So it's got to be tough for everybody involved to see him kind of be performing in this light. In this fashion. And I honestly think they're going to take the time to reset, let Kenny figure himself out. I think they'll use the extra bandwidth they have around the shop with the freed up staff to get a jump on outdoor testing and try to come out at Paula with a Ken Roczen that's in the hunt for the win. Like that's what he's paid to do. That's what he needs to do. So if this is what it takes to do that,
he did skip all the outdoors a couple years back, right? He skipped the whole motocross season. Came out looking pretty good. Came back from some pretty significant missed time and looked as good as ever. So his rebound from this could potentially be just as good. And we don't have any more information than kind of what we told you on this PR that came out, but do you think it's the rest of Supercross? I would bet on it being the rest of Supercross if I had to.
Oh yeah, I would bet money that it's 100%. We won't see him in Supercross anymore this year.
Yeah.
I think the earliest we can look for him will be at Paula at the opener of the MX series. Yeah, definitely. I think he's done with Supercross this year.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see. Outdoors is hard too, right? So if he can get this health figured out and get back on it, then I think if he can figure it out, I don't see why he can't be just as good as ever, Paul, in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, and you said it already. When he took that time off before, he came back and was improved, right? So there is that track record and that history of if he needs the time, he will improve. Obviously, you don't ever want to see him miss races, and there'll be people upset about that. But I mean, I'm sure he'll be getting a discount in pay during this time that he's not racing and not performing, or he'll have to do some sort of other obligations to fulfill his end. And obviously, that is still better than the situation he finds himself in racing.
Yeah. It'll be a really tough blow. Now, for you, Renthal is a big sponsor of Honda. Do you think they fill it in? Is it something that you would see a fill-in guy for them?
I personally don't. Just speaking specifically to our agreement with Renthal, or I'm sorry, with Honda, we do have a minimum rider on the track each weekend type thing, but they're still going to be satisfying that with the riders that they have on the team. Yep. I don't see them, putting Brayton on the bike, or I don't see them taking another guy and putting him there. I just see it as a chance for them to free up some bandwidth, like I said earlier, and get a jump start on outdoor testing. I don't think we'll see anybody on the 94 bike. Yeah,
I don't see a reasonable solution for that either. Like you said, they got the Lawrence brothers, Chase Sexton, all of that. So, but yeah, man, this is another up and down moment for Ken Roczen. As we said, the arms and I've often I've been on the record. I think he's done with Honda at the end of the year. His contract is up. I think he's just gonna try to get himself better, and it's maybe time for both parties to go their separate ways on this. But until then, there's 12 Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship races coming up that Kenny could win a few of those, if not the championship. if he can figure this out. But you got to think a little bit with your Ken. Again, I believe this is real. I believe he's suffering something. He doesn't lose. You're not going to lose all that skill in a half a season or an off season. You got to be stressed a little bit because of those contract situation and everything else. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Ken, right now I would assume it would be he's going to have to wait until his return to outdoors to negotiate another deal for next year. I would assume. I mean, but yeah, he can still. I don't see any reason why he can't put this behind him and be a title contender outdoors and race for his country at Des Nations and Redbud and put it all behind him. Yeah. But this is just a spiral of and just exiting the series is never something easy or that you want to do, right? Like I'm sure he's tore up about it too, but if you continue to stay in it through the rest of the year and then you have 2 weeks between Salt Lake City and Hangtown and you're not giving yourself the opportunity to fix the issue and return back to the form that everybody needs you to be at.
Yeah. There's a lot of whispers that, ever since the arm surgeries, Kenny himself has said this out a few times. Just his body's never been the same immunity-wise since all the surgeries. He's had 8 of them or something on his elbows and arms, right? And every time they go in there and they make a cut and they do things, your body's at risk. And it's almost like since the surgeries, he's been playing with house money, and he's been great. Now, we've sat here and watched him fade from the lead and watched Cooper Webb snatch some races from him and all of that and thrown our arms up and wondered what was going on. But at the end of the day, this dude had 8 surgeries on arms, and maybe everything else was house money. And you know what I mean? This might be it. This could be it if he can't figure it out. Yeah,
I mean, I guess it could be. I don't see it. I think who knows? Honestly, who knows? That we're really speculating.
No, I know. Yeah. No, I'm saying. Yeah. Speculating on him leaving Honda, I'm speculating that he'll never get this figured out and he walks away because this guy has had a lot of problems.
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, in his head, if he can't be that guy, that he obviously wants to be and strives to be, a race winner, a title contender, it might just be, it might not be that he wants to be at the races if he can't be that guy, but maybe he's okay not being that guy and still going to the races. Who knows? That's inside of him to figure out.
Yeah. Yep.
And we're just speculating, but
right.
I just hope that he can sort it out and be good at Paula. I think that's important.
Yeah, it'll definitely. He's always had outdoors come easier to him, but man, more up and down stuff to talk about when it comes to Ken Roczen, like just the things that this guy's been through and done in our sport. Man,
yeah, it's been a hell of a journey for him and a rough road for sure. So I'm sure he's not stoked and proud of the situation he's in right now. But what do you do? Like, I think they've obviously come to a decision. This is what they're going to do. So hopefully we can get better.
Yeah. And we've seen it happen before, and maybe he comes back and figures it out and becomes better than ever. Real bummer though, for sure. He has not looked the same, and I'm not relieved that they're doing this, but what was going on couldn't keep happening. Something, he either figures it out medically and fixes it, or what happened today happens where he takes a pause because what was going on wasn't working for anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, you're right. 100%.
Yep. All right, Renthal reaction, renthal.com. We'll see what happens next in Ken Roczen's career. We do not think Honda fills in anybody, and we think if we both had to bet that he is out for all of Supercross. So we'll see more from that. Another thing to touch on, Paul, again, renthal.com. Please check that out. Chains, sprockets. I saw those sprockets on a KTM Parabinos. They got a new design, but that is a KTM branded Renthal sprocket.
Yeah, that's something that we're starting to mix in with the MXGP teams, and I think you'll slowly start to see it on some of the KTM group teams over here in the future. And yeah, that's a Power Part specific design that we designed for KTM Power Parts for them to sell through their catalog. It's Renthal made. It's still kind of like your normal Renthal sprocket, just with a slightly different design specific to them, so that they can sell through their dealer network.
Anytime you guys change the look of a sprocket, it's been sort of iconic, right? It's gonna catch people's eyes. So
yeah, absolutely, yeah. And the sprocket's been same for a while, and we're constantly working on new revisions and new ideas, but man, there's not an awful lot you can do with a sprocket, and especially the iconic Renthal design that we have and the strength that comes with it. Not a ton you can do there. So you
were on the Pulp Show talking about cloth pads too. They're coming. Very exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah, cloth pads are in the works. Distributors have purchased them, so they're not in transit yet, but they're in the works. So exciting. Pretty soon, all the vintage guys out there, all the 2-stroke retro builds can have something to authenticate their build, and the cloth bar pads are coming soon. And we also, we got something new and exciting coming soon in the next, probably, 4 or 5 Supercrosses. That'll be happening.
End of April, I think. Looking forward to that too.
Yes. Yeah. Sometime in April. So that'll be exciting, I think, and impactful. People won't miss it. So you'll see it. You won't miss it.
Right. All right. Something else to talk about. We had Kyle Chisholm on the Pulp MX show. 63-year-old Kyle Chisholm's going back to the 250 class. Star Yamaha called him up, and if you know anything about Star, you'd love this story he told on the show, Paul, where he said Bobby Reagan called him and was like, "Hey, do you want to fill in?" And first he was like, yeah, I don't know. I got to check with my sponsors, that pay him money, helmets and gear and other people." And the owner of Star, Bobby Reagan, as Chiz told on the show, was like, "Just come up here. We'll figure that out later."
So, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds pretty right. But he talked about how the bike felt like a 450. He talked about that. It was his first day on it yesterday. First of all, I guess I'll start with you. I talked about this on my show, but I'll start with you, Parabinos. You know a lot about what's going on in the industry. Surprised that they called Chiz up for this?
I don't know. I thought about this a few ways, and it brought me back around to Weege's story about Supercross trending older. And I mean, there's just not much new good talent you can trust to be better than Kyle, I think, in that position. I mean, you're getting a veteran guy that, I think I actually went and looked up the rules when I heard he was going to go there, because I thought it was top 20 and points couldn't participate, but I think
somewhere along the line they changed it to top 15.
Yeah, I noticed that too, and there was no strike throughs or anything, and I was like, this got changed without being announced or at least, usually there's a strike through in the rules where you can see what changes were made, or they bold things or put things in red when changes were made, and none of that in the situation here. So
it was for sure top 20. I'm positive on that.
Oh, 100% positive. Yeah.
Right.
And maybe it changed in the off season when Vince Freese campaigned to go back to the 250 class. Maybe that's when the rules were rewritten, because Kyle was a 16 to 20 guy and Vince Freese was a 16 to 20 guy. So maybe they rewrote the rules when Vince was campaigning to go back to the 250 class this year. So he is eligible to race, obviously, and he's going to be a solid fill-in. I think he's going to do. I mean, I haven't seen Kyle ride a 250F. And I couldn't even tell you.
No, hey, listen, you forgot about this. He rode for the 5150 team like in 2019. He rode 250 West.
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I don't remember that.
Yep. Yeah, he he dropped down from Moto Concepts, and then he stuck around for the let me pull up the exact year. He stuck around for the 5150 team as well. He rode West.
Well, I mean, I think he's going to do fine. Honestly, he'll probably be a 4 to 10 guy every single weekend, I think. Okay. No problem.
Sorry, 2018. Yep.
Oh, okay, 2018. But yeah, I'll guess 4 to 10, somewhere in there, on that bike in that class. And I mean, Star has been just stricken down with so many injuries. They probably wanted somebody that could be a little bit of a rock and that was already riding a Yamaha, right? The transition shouldn't be super tough. He's been riding a Yamaha, and they should be able to plug him right in, and he'll be a main event staple, top 10 staple guy. That sounds like was pretty easy to bring him over to the team, given his current arrangement. So, they obviously have some contract obligations to fulfill, is why they're putting somebody on the bike, because they have no 250s on the track right now. Mm-hmm. I think it's cool for Kyle. It's inspirational to a lot of old guys that ride, right? Like, I mean, here's this old veteran guy that's going to get a shot on arguably the best 250F team in the sport, which is pretty cool. So I'm stoked for Kyle, and I hope he does well.
You have a little bit higher expectations than we did on the show. We were saying, 7 to 12. You said 4 to 10.
Yeah, I think so. I think he will be.
Okay.
I think he'll be easy. I mean, just especially, I know the races are 5 minutes shorter, and that could hurt him, and he could lose a lot of ground in the beginning if he's not super sendy. But I still feel his veteran savvy is going to take him to the top 10 every time, no matter what. And on a good night, yeah, I could see him up in the top 5.
These dudes just getting chizzed on, these kids, not even knowing what's going on.
They won't know, yeah, and they'll blow by him in practice. They won't see him in the beginning of the race, but then here we go, 3 minutes before the end, there's going to be this number 11 behind him, and they'll just be, won't know what to do with him. Yeah,
no, exactly right. All right, well, sounds interesting. That'll be something to watch for sure, and best wishes to Kenny on figuring out, and the Honda guys as well. That really sucks when you're missing one of your star riders for sure in the sports. The sport's worse off for it. So, and one less guy running Renthal bars out there in the main event. So,
exactly, we don't like that. So.
No, Renthal.com, a fraction of a second, a few grams, a couple of millimeters. It all counts. Welcome to the winning world of Renthal. All right, thanks for joining me, Paul. Appreciate it. And everybody, we will see you at another podcast. Thanks, man.
All right, take care.